Hey, so another sit down video. Why am I making this? If you've been keeping up with my videos lately, you may have noticed that there's been a slight change to the way that I film and also maybe the quality of my videos, hopefully for the better if you've noticed. And that is really thanks to this camera. I'm making this motion because I can't really hold my camera because I'm actually making use of it right now, and that is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 camera. I guess I really just wanted to make this video to kind of share my thoughts regarding this camera because it has been kind of trending for a while. Kind of wanted to give my thoughts around it, whether I think if it's worth it or not. I guess spoiler alert, how much I love using this camera as someone who's very shy and introverted content creator who kind of just wants to film videos in public without feeling embarrassed. I was initially thinking of creating an unboxing video, but I actually bought this around October of last year and I just got way too excited. So unfortunately I didn't get to film that. So instead I'll be giving you guys a more honest and somewhat in-depth review of this camera, why I chose this against all the other vlog cameras that you may have heard, either Fujifilm XM-5, Sony ZV-E10 or E1. I don't really know what we're up to at this point, versus also making use of my own phone, which is the iPhone 13 Pro. I also want to show you guys some of my favorite settings that I kind of tweaked around a little bit to make it kind of like this, and also maybe a little bit of how I color grade my footage lately and share cinematic vlogs throughout the video. Just a little bit of some facts. I got the Creator combo, which includes a bunch of cool accessories like this carrying bag, which kind of held a bunch of things like an extender, a battery handle, and microphone gear. The carrying bag I find is pretty good when it comes to traveling and keeping my camera and gear safe. Battery handle has a built-in 950 milliamps battery that can extend the operating time when connected to the Pocket 3. All of the accessories and the camera have a 1/4-inch thread at the bottom to connect them easily on tripods, and it also comes with a magnetic wide-angle lens that expands your frame and is great for filming in tight spaces. The microphone gear comes with a DJI Mic 2 transmitter, wind filter, and a magnet, so you can easily clip it on magnetic surfaces or on your clothes, like what I'm doing at the moment. Hopefully the audio quality is also not too bad. Okay, so I managed to find a spot to film. Right across me is a man sleeping, so I apologize. One technique that I found was to be a little bit more discreet with filming is to kind of hide my mic underneath my shirt. I hope it doesn't sound too muffled. Now, obviously, one of the perks with the DJI is that it comes with a integrated gimbal stabilization, so I never have to worry about shaky footage. It's also relatively easy to use. Right off the bat, all you have to do is flip the screen horizontally to turn it on, then press the record button, and you're pretty much good to go. Its UI is packed with a bunch of features, and you're able to film up to 4K 120 FPS. You can check out my matcha vlog that's mostly entirely filmed with my DJI camera in the normal settings and on 4K 60 FPS, so you can be the judge on whether you think it's good or not. But nowadays I've kind of been exploring with the camera settings and really trying to make use of all of the potentials and features that this camera has. I usually film in follow mode in the slow rotational speed for smoother footage. To make most of this camera, I also nowadays film in 4K 25 FPS, as I found that that was actually the most ideal frame rate if I want to create more cinematic film-like footage. And I also nowadays have been playing around with log footage. So with this camera it offers H-log, but I mostly shoot in D-log-M, which gives me a lot more freedom to experiment more with color grading. Now to take things up a notch, if you swipe here on the right and click on the Pro settings, you unlock a whole bunch more options to customize your camera. I manually set my ISO to at least double the frame rate, so around 150, and also 50 to 800 for exposure. In terms of those settings, I kind of just been watching a whole bunch of YouTube tutorials and also reviews of this camera, and most of the time those are the settings that other creators use. And for sharpness and noise reduction, I set that to around -2 and 1, experimenting on my my own and seeing what I like and don't like. So at the moment, this is what works best for me. I didn't really want to play around with too much sharpness or noise, as I can always add that during my editing phase. Now, because these settings mean that I have a fixed exposure, I accompanied it by these variable ND filter lens from Freewell. I mean, there's so many other brands that offer this, but these were the ones that were available on the DJI flagship store here in Sydney, so I kind of ended up buying it. I really like this one because you can really pretty much just rely on one filter and change its stops depending on how bright it is to kind of change your exposure. I mostly make use of the 1 to 5 stops, which I think is like good enough for me, but on really sunny days, the 6 to 9 stops is very helpful. What's really great with this camera is that camera lens is magnetic, so pretty much to put on the filter is kind of just a snap and go mechanism, which is really great. I definitely think it's a worthwhile investment on buying a variable ND filter if you ever choose to get this camera. Now I guess let's talk quickly about the camera's shape. It doesn't look like a normal, DSLR or anything like that. So I find it quite hard to buy the right accessories that work for me. So I currently have right here some extra accessories that I bought to complement my vlogging experience. Firstly, off the bat, the camera comes with its own case, which looks a little bit like this, which is fine. It's good because it has a sort of like magnetic portion here to store your filters, which kind of works okay, but I find that this one's a little bit flimsy to use. I tend to not make use of the carrier bag that it comes with. I mostly like to put the camera on my handbag, and I find that camera and the gimbal tends to move around a lot and sometimes kind of gets dislodged from this case, which is not fun. So yeah, I find that this isn't really that protective, so I ended up buying this one right here. So this one's from Star TRC. Honestly, you can buy this anywhere, like you can buy it from Amazon. Yeah, I just kind of like the shape of this one. Both my screen, the front and the back of the camera is safe. It kind of opens a bit like this. It also has portion for any lens that you have, but unfortunately it can only fit one. In terms of the tripod, the creator combo came with this tripod, which I guess is pretty handy, but at the same time it is quite long and kind of takes up a little bit of desk space. So for a more portable option, I bought this silicone stand, which is actually such a game changer. I really recommend buying this one. It's very helpful to use. I've also seen some reviews of the camera, and most of the people that make use of the DJI has bought a magnetic case, and this one has been such a game changer in terms of experimenting with different types of angles. But because now that this takes up a little bit of space on the back, I realized that this case doesn't really work anymore, so I had to end up buying another case. So you can kind of see my weird dilemma here. So I ended up buying this other case that's shorter and just covers up to the screen. It kind of operates in the same fashion. You kind of just snap and close. But unfortunately this one doesn't have a proper portion for the lens, but I find that okay because the magnetic case kind of just put my lens on the back of the magnetic stand, which is okay. Obviously the creator combo also came with a hand strap, but y'all know me. If you guys have already been following my channel, you guys know how much I love customizing things. So yeah, obviously I can't go without decorating my accessories with more stickers and little fun bits and bobs. Let's talk a little bit about color grading. A little bit of a disclaimer, I'm not a color grading expert at all. This is something that I just like to do for fun, and I've watched countless of like YouTube tutorials, but really my main goal, what I want my footage to look like, is I really like Wes Anderson films, and I want to make things look a little bit as if it was shot on film. I only make use of Final Cut Pro to do this, which to some extent can be limited. I know that some people use the DaVinci Resolve. DJI kind of offers a LUT to convert your footage, but I don't really make use of that. I make use of Cinematch because I wanted to make my video kind of look like it filmed out of a Fujifilm camera. So I'll show you guys quickly what my settings are, but if you guys want a more in-depth video on how I edit and color grade, let me know. Maybe if you guys would find it useful. I also want to talk quickly on the types of film shots you can do with this camera. You can do trick shots like doing a 90 or 180 degrees spin shot, which can make for a pretty cool b-roll footage. You can also have it on face auto detect to follow your face around, which is pretty good for certain talking vlogs. I personally use this during my clean and organized with me video. The reason why I chose this over all of the different types of vlog cameras, you may have heard of Insta360, Sony ZV-E10. This one's really great because obviously it has an integrated gimbal feature. I just find that the footage of it just looks a lot better than some of the Insta360 footages that I've seen on YouTube. Let's talk about the weird quirks, or maybe some of the cons when it comes to this camera. I guess coming from a phone, obviously there's a few things that you would need to think about. You need to buy an SD card for this. I would suggest looking at the read-write features of the SD card before buying it, because there are some that's incompatible with this camera. I'll link the list of SD cards that are compatible with this. So those are some of the associated costs. I find that this camera has kind of a average, almost low score when it comes to battery life. If I were to film, say, a very long video like 10 or 20 minutes, kind of have to keep your eye on it and make sure that it doesn't die. It does obviously come with a portable battery that you can charge with, but truthfully that doesn't really extend your battery life that much. So I feel like this camera is more perfect for when you're kind of out and about and filming really short clips and you're kind of like making montages and all of that. Also, I do find that it kind of overheats sometimes if you film like for a longer while. I don't know if I should be worried that happens. Also, the sensor for this camera is quite small because of the fact that it is a small camera. So in a way, there are limitations when filming in sort of nighttime. Sometimes you can get a little bit of grain. Feel like if you film in D-Log and know how to color grade, you can help to kind of correct that. I guess I did ended up buying this around 1,000-ish Australian dollars, but that is because I bought the creator combo. But with that being said, I feel like it's a really good beginner camera. In terms of when it comes to starting, I guess, content creation journey, no, you don't need this camera. Filming with your phone is completely fine, but if you find that that's kind of limiting, I do recommend this as the next best option if you're also a little too scared to jump into learning how to make use of mirrorless cameras. I guess that's all of the review that I had, but I'm not done yet. I'm gonna show you guys some of the footages that I took with this camera over the holidays, so enjoy.
I like
what the DJI sounds like without a mic. It's very windy. I forgot to bring a mic, so I have no idea what this sounds like.
Artificial turf lang pa natin.
Funny, it's not a star I see. It's always you. Whenever I roam through roses, and lately I often do. Well, funny, it's not a rose I touch. It's always if a breeze caresses
something.
it's really strolling by. If I hear a melody, it's really the way you start. And when you are breeze caresses me. It's really you strolling by. And if I